Whoa. Maybe. Well. Okay. There we are. All right. Welcome back to Fuck This Camera Angle videos, where I'm just getting ready. I have to pack up some DVDs. So why don't you join me while I pour myself a drink and also try to find an angle that isn't fucking being absorbed by the second coming of Christ. Jesus Christ. Just going to share this briefly while also turning on the said jazz. So yeah, I have a very good thing. Free copyright music jazz. Let's do this one. What a strange universe we find ourselves in. For example, the JIT is up there, and I want to be here. Let's turn on the Discord real quick and share this bad boy. Kind of suits my mood right now. Not inherently hopeless, but melancholic. That's a good word for today. Melancholic. There. I can see the little baubles down there at the bottom saying that I'm currently doing this shit. That's good. That's good. Shit is good. I'm gonna be here for a while, by the way, so strap yourselves in. Maybe not so long, but I've got to. I'll tell you this now for anyone watching in the future. I've got tons of DVDs. I need to pack them because on Wednesday I'm going to go and sell some of them. However, I've only got myself to carry them with, so I've got to basically be smart about how I pack it all up to get the most out of money and the most out of, well, not breaking my back. I also have to bring this laptop so you guys can enjoy us. So let's just share this, and then I'm going to puff a drink. Oh, God almighty, Michael. And a marmalade, Michael. That's a real thing. By the way, that's not what I wanted at all. Fuck it. Fuck it. It's gonna be one of those days. It's gonna be one of those daily days. The Daily Show. Okay. At least got a like, at least. Appreciate any likes I can get. Now, I'm gonna get up and get myself a drink. And then we're gonna get ourselves started. Gonna be a little bitch and get a thing to sit down on. So I'll talk about everything that's in front of me and throw them in. But I've also got to get up from time to time and get more stuff. Let's start with this bad boy. Sure, you're going to see some gullet at some point. This is on Twitch, so I'm allowed to gullet away. Now, we'll start with this. I think box sets will be mostly what goes in this bag. Predator. I got this for £6. The first two movies, special edition. I'll probably get it for about maybe £2 if I'm lucky. I've already sold some Game of Thrones Blu-Rays. We got the complete 4th season. And there we go. Complete 4th season. That was £25 when I got it. I always joked that I'd end up using these to pay back shit, but first season, 20. I mean, I wish I could get these all for what I originally paid for them, but I don't think CEX works that way. I'm actually not quite sure how much I'm going to get for all these. I do know that I'm thirsty already, Gavin. If you want me to higher or lower the music, you want me to move the camera a little bit, I can do that. You just tell me. Yeah. This one's 2nd season. Doesn't say how much this one went for. Guessing about the same, £20. I probably got them new. Is that it for my Game of Thrones ones? Yep. So I'll be wanting to get box sets. Aha! Well, I'll get this one in next. Not easy to find. Not exactly beloved either. Hornblower. With the guy who played, you know him best as the what's his name? Iodon Griffith. How do you pronounce his name? IOANGRUFFUDD. He was Mr. Fantastic in those terrible Fantastic Four films with Jessica Alba. He also played William Wilberforce in Amazing Grace, where he sings, and he really can sing well. Give him that. There, easier for now. James Bond on Daniel Craig. I like Daniel Craig as Bond. I think he does a good job. He definitely has the look down. I don't think he's as fun as other Bonds. That's a shame, but you know. This one has Casino Royale, Quantum of Solace, and Skyfall, so it doesn't have Spectre. It's the only Bond film I never bought. Fucking sucks. How much does this go for? Doesn't say. I like the box. It's very, very stylish. This one's falling apart a bit. You'll have to admit, it just adds to the amazingness. Maybe get a little bit of sellotape for this one. The Batman Legacy. Back when the Batman films could make fun of themselves. Except they were still really, really bad in a lot of ways. First Batman, of course, was fantastic. Batman Returns was pretty good. Then the other two, Batman Forever and Batman and Robin. Oh, what killed the dinosaurs? The Ice Age. Oh, how much did I pay for this one? A tenner. Ooh, I won't get much for this. Shame, those are some great films. So many great films here, but of course the medium's dying off. Now this, however, is a bit of a collector's piece. So I'm definitely going to be taking it with me. Shogun. James Clavicle's Shogun. I love the book. Or Clavels. Or was it Clavels? It's Clavels. First time ever in American history, someone was shown getting peed on. Oh, yes. Not in a sexual way, there. It was a matter of dominance. The acting style is very wooden, very chunky by today's standards. John Rhys Davies is in it. Pretty good. I like it. Is that it for the box sets that I can reach on this side? Yeah, looks like. So let me move over here. The only one that this doesn't have is the Apollo films, which I like. I like the Apollo films. I just never got around to buying them. I thought out of all of them, obviously Rocky V is the shit one. With Tommy Gunn. Rocky was fantastic. Rocky 2 was pretty good as well. Rocky 3 was, I'd say, one of the weaker ones. I'd say it was pretty weak. But Clubber Lang was still memorable, as well as that training montage. But of course, Rocky 4 is just pure cheese. Pure cheese. All done with, of course, director's commentary. I used to always buy DVDs with director's commentary. Let's see. Anything else I can put in here? Yes. Now this is a big one. Behold, the entirety. After I grab the damn things. Come on. Come on. Out you go. The X-Files. Behold, as Mulder and Scully stare at you in indignation for all time. Yeah. Look at that. Look at that bad boy right there. Everyone, even the new season, which isn't terrible, but it isn't great, and it kind of just reboots everything. Now, I absolutely loved X-Files. When I grew up, it was a little bit more adult than I was used to. So I suppose it kind of flew over my head, but I liked a lot of it. I remember a lot of episodes, particularly the Monster of the Week episodes. They were great. But then when I rewatched all these, I got to be honest with you. Some of them, I imagine some people, like, their memories don't hold up to scrutiny. For example, the Lone Gunmen are just atrocious. Oh, they are bad. And they tried to start their own show with them. What the hell were they thinking? As well as that, we've got the movies, which aren't all that great. Scully was so fucking hot. Yeah, although she was boring as shit. She was just hot. Now, this is going to take up a huge chunk of the bog. It's going to take a huge chunk of the bog. A lot of these came with director's commentaries as well. Some interesting stuff. I didn't know this, but they used to steal sets from NYPD Blue and Law and Order. They used to steal the bull pits and just turn them into offices and then pop them back. They also apparently stole something from the Enterprise, as in Next Gen at one point. Good shit. Some crazy shit. But this bog is already getting pretty packed. Welcome back to Will It Fit? Come on, you bastard. Yeah. I can still get more DVDs in there, but I think the box sets are finished, with the exception of this bad boy here. Mad Max 1 to 3. Mad Max 1 might as well be a completely different movie. These two are where it really begins. Fallout owes so much to these motherfuckers. Especially Thunderdome. Used to get so much of a bad rap, Thunderdome, but then it kind of became its own thing, and I really appreciate the way it's turning around, because Thunderdome was pretty damn important. Hardly the first time we saw a post-apocalyptic thing like that, but still. And Mel, overall, is pretty good. I like Tom Hardy's take on him, but Mel's was better for that time. Now, I'd say we got maybe 10 more DVDs I can throw in there. So with that said, let's start with a fantastic one. I love the sleeve on it. It feels like cardboard. It does feel like a package that someone from Fight Club would send you. I watched this film so many times. I have the book over there. I still haven't read it yet. I know there's a complete recipe to make explosives in it. I think I was always planning to eventually listen to it on audiobook, and then I picked it up, and then I was like, well, now I don't want to do either. Right. So let's say we get another 5 more of them. Let's have a look around. Apocalypto. 80. This one I can't sell because there's no like packaging or anything. Mel Gibson, Apocalypto. The Minions film, the first one. Ugh. And the reboot of the A-Team. Yeah, I don't think anyone will buy these. Except for Apocalypto. That's not terrible, but it is so historically inaccurate. Watch film History Buffs. Yeah, it's History Buffs. If you want to see more on that. Okay. So I've got more DVDs over here, and I've got a few boxes scattered around. Music sounds like I think I've already said this before. This particular song sounds like Final Fantasy. Shine. Waterworld. A film that was so lampooned at the time. I don't get it. No one gets it. Because it's actually a pretty damn good film overall. Except when it's not, because their main actor is boring as shit. Oh my god, he's bad. Oh, finally, a little bit of cloud cover. Hell yeah. God love Goodfellas. By the way, I've noticed liking and subscribing. That's all well and good. Not liking and subscribing, but definitely liking, and I appreciate that. But also, do not forget that I'm going to be now having to come up with new shit. So if you want to see what I'm up to and you're not already subscribed, please consider subscribing. Now, this is going to be an ad hoc couple of days as I try to find something interesting to talk about, something interesting to do. As you do. Where's more of this? Oh! Whew! A few hits of that and I won't care. I don't just love the Wayne's World films because they're, in my opinion, they are the best SNL films out there. And that includes Blues Brothers. You can disagree with me. I like Blues Brothers 1. Blues Brothers 2 is a piece of shit. But these two movies, I know so many people who lived in that time frame in America, who grew up in that in that sort of lifestyle, and they felt like right at home, while also just making fun of it. It feels so grounded. I like a lot of films that are grounded. I don't care. Like fantasy is all well and good. One of my favorite films is Star Wars, after all. But nothing beats getting a time and place down perfectly. That's why I also love American Gangster. And I've actually got a lot of gang films right here. There's American Gangster there. This is also the special edition that has the post-credit scene where he's let out of prison. All right, I don't think I've got much space left on this, so what I'll do is I'll find a place for these three, and then I'll break out some of the other bags because we're not done yet. I mean, it'd be only a 20-minute long stream. So let's find some space. Let's find some space. There we are. Now, the key thing is it has to zip up. If it can't zip up, I have to take DVDs out. Considering some of these DVDs are as low as like 5 to 10 cent on average, it's hardly going to be all that much of a... Just made it. Okay. I'd say I've got about maybe 30 odd quid in this bag right now. Maybe more. Last time I took DVDs up, I was happily surprised with what I got. So, now we move on to... Actually, I won't use a smaller bag because I need to go up to the shop probably later today or tomorrow. If I do go up to the shop later today and the lights are still on, as in there's still some sunlight, I will go and film you something rather cool that is probably the last thing in this village I've never filmed. Anyway. So, with that, let's now go and turn our attention back here. Want to get a notification for this stream now. Mental. First things first, Tinsel Worm, Bill Bailey. I've been getting more and more. I used to hate the idea of having a stand-up comedy show on a DVD because it kind of defeats the purpose. Because after you watch it once, all the jokes won't land the same way. But I was very happily disproven by Bill Bailey. Not this one of his other ones. Might be gone now at this point. I don't know. But I'm really much a fan. Very much a fan. Really very much a fan. Gladiator. What do you want me to say except that this is where I learned of Joaquin Phoenix. I like the Joker. I have to admit, I'm starting to turn around on the whole Joker thing, but that's where I saw him. The chubby hamster. Really, really fun film. Now this hits me personally because when I was a kid, Empire of the Sun, I watched this maybe like 4 or 5 times, and I loved it. I thought it was an amazing film. And years later, I met Christian Bale. Actually had a drink with the dude. Notice how I don't constantly go on about it. Like some people go, oh, I met this person, I met that person. I'm just there like, yeah, well, I met Christian Bale and had a drink with him. I don't go on about it. But he, I said, like, when I was a kid, I watched it all the time. And he was very flattered. But of course, millions of other people did as well. Come look at the skies! Blah, 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 blah. And speaking of personal, this was the last movie my dad ever was outsourced to before he got too sick to work. Which is a fucking shame because this movie sucks. It absolutely sucks. Look at the tagline. It even says, from the producers of Pearl Harbor. Are you fucking kidding me? The untold true story, all in caps, by the way. The untold true story that inspires the legend. So it should be the untold true story that inspired the legend. There's not even an exclamation point at the end. Alternate ending, yeah, behind the scenes making of. Yeah, my dad was outsourced. He was meant to make shields, if I remember right, and like fake armor, but he got too sick after a while. Yeah, I think he got like 20 pieces in. Let's leave them for a minute. Believe it or not, one of the only kung fu films I ever really liked, real kung fu films, and even that's like pushing it. People are like, it's kind of like baby's first kung fu film. I remember as an early teenager, I'd watch this with an order of Chinese. Noodles. I'd go for some noodles. And speaking of what caused the problem with Waterworld, Kevin Costner, Dancing with Smurfs. Hours and hours of the white man learns to be white, but also black. I'm sorry, Native American. So in this case, it'd be red. Although I did like the scene where they're trying to describe what a buffalo is. Was it Watonkaka? It's not a bad film. In fact, there's a lot of good things to it. It's not exactly easy sit. And to be honest with you, Kevin Costner's voice talking is so boring. He's like if you deflate Nicolas Cage. That's my opinion on it. However, you want to talk about a film that isn't boring? Fucking Evolution, baby. Play that funky moon, white boy. David Duchovny, Orlando Jones. God, there's a name. Julianne Moore. Fuck yeah. She's hot in this. She's got this cool t-shirt on her that has the periodic table on the back. Coming to wipe out that silly smile off your planet. I don't know why this film didn't do as well as people thought. It was a good film. Probably came out at the same time as something else. This film is one of those films that is written by a person of a certain ethnicity to suck the dick of a person of a particular ethnicity. It's Glory, which if you don't know what it is, it's it's based off the true life story of the Algerian soldiers who fought in the south of France to reclaim France, even though Algeria was being dominated by the French at that point. And it has there's a thing where the French woman falls in love with the Algerian man because, of course, you got to add that in, as well, which I'm sure did happen. And of course, then there's also there's a scene where one of them loots a church, and he goes, "But they are not us, Allah Akbar." And you just stare like, oh, it's so heavy-handed. It's so not done well. They want to be bands of brothers, but Muslim. That's the gist of it. Failed too. You could have done that so much better if you just didn't make it so obvious. Caddyshack. Yes, I'm going to go through every single one of them. Fuck yeah. Took me years to watch this film. The snobs against the slobs. Bill Murray's in it, but I'm going to be honest with you, Bill Murray's not actually the best thing about it by far. It's a Chevy. Chevy Chase by far is the best thing about this film. The sequel, I don't remember much about it. I know he's in it as a cameo, but whatever. Anyway, speaking of films that have a sequel, or rather a reboot, look at it. It's laminated. Oh, not laminated. It's reflective. It's fancy, and it's a shit film. The only good thing about it is that what's his name is the dad. Christopher Lee plays the dentist. He plays Michael. Like Johnny Depp plays Michael Jackson, but Michael Jackson, who is sexually active, and considering what Michael Jackson's preferences probably were, allegedly. Leave little Michael alone. Oh, little Michael. Little Michael never grew up. That was his problem. Oh, speaking of someone who never reached his full potential. Oh God, look at that gullet. Look at that gullet there. Whoa. YouTube's gonna love me. Yes. When goths want action movies. Not superhero movies. I don't even need to say much about that one. Other than I really enjoy it. Okay. Here's another stand-up. Dara O'Brien, who doesn't do too well over in America, but he's very much beloved here in Ireland, and he does very well in the UK. He runs a show, or ran a show, I don't know if it's still going, called Mock the Week. You can tell why I relate to him. Just put me in a suit and shave off my beard. I think he's very good. He also games a lot, apparently. I'm surprised he doesn't have a Twitch channel. Dara O'Brien's Twitch channel would be fucking hilarious. Now here's an interesting film. Perfect Storm. As you can see, it's pretty old. Got it in GameStop. You can just make out the GameStop logo. Or you would if I could rotate it right. There we are. Mark Wahlberg and George Clooney. There's a bunch of other people too. But mostly just those two. Oh, my legs. My poor leggy legs. Ooh, all the blood is running out. Gotta be honest with you. This film, it's more of a test case of what you can do with computers. And where is it? This is what the end result is. Deep Impact. Let's see, do they have a list of the Miami letter? Elijah Wood, there he is. Vanessa Redgrave, woo! And of course, Morgan Freeman is the president. They called it. The director's commentary of this is fascinating because when it hits New York, they mention 9/11. They also mention Elijah growing up to do Lord of the Rings. I've also got Armageddon here somewhere, but I don't know if it's actually here. First Iron Man. Compared to what comes, it's very humdrum. But it's not bad. It's not bad. It's not even the special edition. It's just the edition. In fucking Bruges. Seriously, how many people thought about Bruges, including people who actually live in the damn city before this film came out? Brendan Gleeson, Colin Farrell, and Ralph Fiennes. Ralph Fiennes is fucking amazing. You're yelling at an inanimate object! You're a fucking inanimate object! I like Brendan Gleeson in particular because, if only because Mel Monkey, Chris's brother, had him as his geography teacher because Ireland is tiny. Now, this film gets a lot of mixed reviews, but overall I liked it. The Artist was a pretty cool idea. It brought people back to the idea that movies can be done differently, like silently. That movie, La La Land, that I kind of liked. I can enjoy the odd musical. But I think that was heavily inspired by The Artist. Although I knew someone, he used to pour drinks. He was a French guy, and he was up in the Grand Social in Dublin. And he used to pour drinks. He was a movie student, so I thought, oh wow, cool. But he liked all the pre-Hollywood movies, not just the black and white stuff, but the stuff shot in like Paris and New York before Edison put the clamp down. And it was fascinating to hear him talk. But every time I tried to add in, he's like, "Oh no, I don't like that. Oh no, that's all sellout. That came the movie that came before that is much better." Like I would mention something like this, a classic, Rear View Mirror, and he'd be like, "Oh, it's okay, but the inspiration for it came from Hitchcock's early work." Where, okay, oh my God, you're a French cinema snob without the comedy. Just pour me another overpriced drink. Oh, and the reason why I'm not why I'm not going in too much into Rear View Mirror is because it's Rear fucking View Mirror. Just watch that episode of The Simpsons where Bart gets a cast on his leg with the pool episode. Now here's something we can talk about. I don't know much about American football, even though I'm wearing a Huskers shirt thing I got in Omaha years ago. But I hear this is like just White Savior the movie. Sandra Bullock just being... Look at the cheekbones in that woman. Oh, well, you can see it. Those are some dimples. She's got some strong bones. I hear that's in some respects not a bad film, but it's still not like anywhere near close to what really happened. Hey, ladies, want a splooge? Do an Unplex Storm if I ever open up. I also had the Labyrinth at one point, but I left it in the States. I've read some of the Vampire Chronicle books, I think the first 3, and they're alright, but Jesus Christ, it just turns into Lestat. Lestat is amazing. Lestat does everything. Lestat is my OP one true pairing character. I mean, at one point he becomes a fucking god. Like, how can the rest of the vampires compete with that shit? I don't know why I kind of like films that are kind of fire and forget films. The Bucket List, which most people are like, wow, look at these 2 old respected actors doing old respected actor stuff. It's kind of interesting. It introduced people to the idea of a bucket list, but it also introduced people to the idea of the most expensive coffee in the world. When Nicholson's character, oh, by the way, these are all full of spoilers. If you ever want to watch these films, deal with it. But he always one of his things that he always loves is really expensive coffee that's from Indonesia, and it turns out that they have to send ferrets in that then eat the bean and then shit it out, and then that bean mixed in with the digestive juices make for the best coffee in the world. And I'm just there like, yeah, I knew that for years. I thought a lot of people knew that. I'd still have it, by the way. I'd still have it. Next time you have a glass of water, how many kidneys have that gone through? It's been processed. We'd be all dead if it wasn't processed. Ray, I have a little story to tell for this one. My friend Claire, when I was living in Dublin, we'd often get stoned in my apartment, and I might as well just call it a flat. Emphasis on the flat part. Ooh. But it was we once watched this film, and I started to mimic the way Ray was doing the whole thing with his glasses, and she just pissed out. She just pissed herself laughing. She sometimes then would ask me just to go, do your Ray Charles impression. You have to throw your head back with your mouth wide open. Overall, I think it's actually a very good film. Reminds me a lot of half a dozen other films that are like this. You know, it's exactly what you said in the tin, what you get on the tin. Bloop, bloop, bloop. Let's go back to these. What can we pick? Ooh, what's this? Coach Carter. Again, I'm not big into sports, but I like these sort of real life stories. Euro 50 for this one. It begins on the streets. It ends here. God, who pays for these taglines? You don't get as many taglines in the same vein as you did. Only a few years ago, they seem to have stopped. Speaking of stopped, the music stopped. I don't know if you guys have been hearing it the whole time, but I'm going to go and find some new music while also pulling down some DVDs so I can keep this going. I'm not going to do my whole collection, but I'm going to do a chunk of it. I've already sold about half of it. It's kind of sad. All these shelves are going completely bare. My ball collection, I think, will stay here, but I think Chris is just going to throw it after I leave. It's his to do it what he wants, but I don't know. I kind of like them. Yeah, so Yeah, I thought this was pretty good. Again, I don't know how it's based off in real life, but pretty damn good film, I kind of thought. Now, if you want a heartbreaking film, this took some of the ideas of Schindler's List and just rolled with it. I also like how it's a war film, but it's also not a war film because you never really see much of the war. Like, I found that very fascinating. Because it's not about the war, and yet it is about the war, but the kids don't know that. The ending is just horrific. Okay, I'll put these two in and then I'll get up. Now, I fucking love this film. Jeff Bridges being his gruffest ever, more than the dude. He's just, oh, and Maggie Gyllenhaal. She's hot. She's on a lot of things. I particularly like her face. She's got a very nice looking face. She's got a very nice looking ass. She's got secretary down there, so she definitely has a very nice looking ass. Yeah, this is also a great soundtrack. And I even like Daniel Craig, not Daniel Craig. Bruges. Colin Farrell. Even like Colin Farrell in this because he's very he comes across not as a dick. He just did what he needed to do for his politics. Not his politics, his career, his music career. Overall, it's a good story. It's a good, genuine story all around. Crazy Heart. If you haven't already, and if you don't like country music, that's fine. Country music, especially for anyone who's watching this in the States, is just drowned into you. But I swear, this shit is really really heartbreaking. Meanwhile, I haven't even taken this out of its plastic yet. Never even got a chance to watch it. Seen it enough times. Fuck yeah. I mean, they get so many good things right with this. It took me years to watch it because I thought it was so stupid. I kept getting, for some reason, super bad vibes, like the two are related, which they're not. And then when I watched it, I really enjoyed it. I really, really enjoyed it. It was a good film all around. I mean, there's so many quotable lines in it. I mean, I even love Tom Cruise in it with his fat suit and his bald cap doing his sort of seducing dance at one point. That was some great shit. All right, I'm gonna get up now. I'm gonna put the lights on. I'm gonna put the lights on. I'm gonna take down some more box sets and put them away, and then we'll be done. I'll probably do like 2 videos on this, so this will be the first of 2. Not tonight, obviously. Probably not even tomorrow. Maybe Wednesday if because I can't actually stream on Wednesday in the normal sense, which of course I can't anyway because I'm not gaming anymore. This is the first, but I'm gonna be off in Sligo. So you guys follow me, hopefully, if I can bring the camera with me. That's why I wanted to get this bag ready. But I'll bring the laptop with me, and we'll see what we can do. But anyway, let's get up. So we'll get up now and turn the lights on, and then I will go and put more music on. And then we can get my lights. Oof. Aha! Victory! After this, I'm getting dinner. Oh yeah, there's more box sets down there. Thing is, I don't have a car, so a lot of this has to be. A lot of this has to. Well, kind of got to just deal with what I can carry at a time. Whenever Caroline comes over, we can do that. But for now, how about if I sit down? Nah, too far away. No, I won't be lazy. I'll sit back down. No more DVDs. I'm a limber boy. I'm so limber. Or like Limburg. Cheese. Should get myself some cheese when I go out in a minute. I have no idea how this sounds, by the way. If anyone actually is watching right now, hope you've been hearing this. At the very least, I'd want you to tell me that there's no sound. So I've just killed 45 minutes of doing jack shit. I got a bunch of likes, so I must be doing something right. Right, let's find some music. Here comes Metal Monkey. Here. I don't care, Audible. Go away. Away he goes. No. Audible hopes you enjoy these programs. Welcome back to Low Energy Videos. Great stuff, but I don't want to be fighting over the damn. Damn stuff. Okay, let's wrap this shit up. Now this. You believe I never actually got to watch this once. All 39 episodes plus spectacular Stingray special features. Stingray! Most people know Stingray here in Ireland and the UK for this one song. Maria, Aqua Maria. Made by the same people who did Thunderbirds and Captain Scarlet. Some good shit. The puppetry was just fantastic. Of course, without it, we wouldn't have had Team America or anything like that. But this was it was a short-lived show, but it was kind of tied in. One thing I never liked, I always liked the English accents. And then when they brought it over to the States, they added in a bunch of American stuff. Remember a good chunk of it? Remember they're fighting this sort of knockoff version of the Mariner? Hey, 80s and 90s middle class, white, middle-aged housewives. You ready to splooge? Come and have a bath with me. No. I'm too busy screaming at the head of the Statue of Liberty. Oh, Clint. What the fuck has become of you? Now, here's a film no one talks about, although I fucking love it. The Ides of March. Ryan Gosling, man. George Clooney, Philip Seymour Hoffman, Paul Giamatti, and Marisa Tomei. Now, this is a good film. I don't know what it is. It's apparently based off a stage play, but it's about this Great White Hope Democratic leader and the secrets he has. You actually learn so much about how the electoral campaign is run, especially pre-Trump era. There's a great scene where I think it's either Giamatti or Philip is trying to get. He's trying to see if they still do Quaaludes. Fucking amazing. Oh, and Charlie Rose is in that as well. I know he's gotten a lot of flack these days, but I learned so much from Charlie. I can't help that. Anyway, Blackadder goes forth. Such a sad ending for such a really good. I wouldn't say is it the best of the Blackadder series. I kind of like three more, not by much. Two's pretty good. One is crap. They didn't know what they were doing back then. A lot of shows are like that. The first season's not very good. Simpsons is the same. After two, they really got into their stride up to season 10. Blackadder goes forth. Fantastic film in many respects. For show in many respects. How many episodes is in it? Doesn't say. I actually like the one they made for the turn of the century. Was it Blackadder Forever or something like that? Where they go back over the old hunting grounds from the different shows. Woof, pish posh. Oh, Stephen Fry's the best in this. I don't care if he buggered. Was it? I don't care if he buggered the Prince of Wales with a prize-winning leak. He shot my pigeon. Bah, bah. That's a great show. Highly recommend you watch the Blackadders. Avoid the first one if you really want, but anyway. Who wants to learn about some stereotypical Jewish culture? I really like the songs in this. Really good stuff. The acting's amazing. It's very heartfelt. Meanwhile, a film that's getting a lot of flack, and I actually kind of agree with it. As time goes on, more and more does Ferris Bueller not come across as a pompous cunt. You can more than well Bueller edition. Speaking of a pompous cunt. Yeah, this is a film that teenagers or people in their early 20s like, but once you hit your mid-20s, starting to go into your 30s, no, you have to kind of take a back seat to you kind of have to take a back seat to all that fucking bullshit and grow the fuck up. I mean, for starters, what's his name? Cameron. He probably was beaten to the inch in his life for doing that with the car at the end of the movie. Fuck that shit. Fuck it royally. Don't condone it. Also, Ferris committed so many crimes. So many crimes. Okay. But now we go to a film that has aged very well. It is incredibly full of angst. But Christ almighty is it good. So many people are like, oh, I'm like this person. I'm like this person. If I was like any one of these ones right here, it'd probably be the nerdy one. What's his name? The redhead. Of all them, I know that's not really painting me in the best light, but actually, I'd probably be I wouldn't be any of the students. I would be the janitor who says a very good thing at the end of it. Like, can you imagine these kids one day are going to look after me? And he just looks over and says, "No, they won't. Like, they won't. They'll abandon you. They're just going to leave you to fucking die old and alone because you're a cunt to them. You're a piece of shit." Beowulf. Jay, how you doing, mate? You missed a good chunk of the packing, but I'm not going anywhere, so feel free to stick around. You're also the only one who's actually fucking responded, like on the actual fucking comments. It's not required, but I'd like to know if I'm sounding all right. It's here with some gin, last of the old gin. People are suck and chats. Oh wait, no, you said that. It's the reverse then. So it's chats are suck, people gay. Yeah, that's what I meant. Speaking of something that kind of sucks and kind of doesn't. Yeah, chat. We got ourselves some Beowulf with the weird CGI. Haven't seen Beowulf. You get to see Angelina Jolie come out of the water in her. She never looked that good naturally, but it's all CG, and she's just completely nude, except for little bits of flecks of gold. She comes out of literal gold to seduce him. It's actually kind of very manly, man. It's very over the top. It's not bad though. I have to be honest with you. It's really not bad, but it's not great either. It's a cool little experiment. Now, if you want a film that's absolutely shite, oh, pure misogyny, Jay. Jay, like earlier on, I was talking about the girl from Secretary and how she has a nice ass. I am literally me tooing her by pointing out that a fictitious character played by a woman who takes good care of her body is sexually appealing to me on some levels. And of course, I am a straight white male with a YouTube channel and a bald head and a neck beard. Well, actually, this one isn't so much a neck beard. It's more of a goatee that wants to be more of itself. Now, want to talk about a shitty film? I'm going through each and every one of these films, but now that you're here, I can also talk to you. Diary of the Dead. Now, I like the Dead franchise, but the Diary movie is shit. The only good thing about this whole film, the mute Amish man with the dynamite, he was fucking brilliant. The ending of it sucks, where he's like, she's talking over like people shooting zombies and like using them as target practice. Then he goes, "Who are the real monsters? The fucking zombies." I haven't seen a lot of movies. Well, you give me a shout when you actually see one. I'm just gonna go through each breakdown of each and every one of them. Now, what about this bad boy? Have you seen this one at least? Fucking Gremlins. You want to talk about a problematic film these days? A lot of black people didn't want this film released because they thought that the Gremlins were code for black people because they listen to jazz music and eat fried chicken. I know it's as stupid as everyone else as it sounds. Oh, fuck off, ad! Away with you now, ad! Gremlins. Oh, great film. Absolutely love it. Absolutely fucking love it. Oh, there's one thing I want to check. What does it say? That sucks. There's something. There's like a record for something with this film. This is either the first time something happened or the most something happened on this film, but I can't think of what it is. Except for adorable puppets that then want to kill you and smoke cigars over your corpse. Oh yeah, the whole black thing. Yeah, not UCLA. What's it called? The Anti-Defamation League. Check this out on their wiki page for this movie. They actually wanted to block it because they saw a advanced screening of it and was like, "These are all meant to be black people." What? No, they're not. Fucking ridiculous. Now, you want to talk about some black people that you want to have all of? Oh, she was hot in this. There's one scene where she's coming out of this pool of either blood or water, probably blood, and the legs on her. Fucking hell. The film itself, shit. Oh yeah. And as you go back more and more and more and more, there's more and more truth to it. I mean, I think black people have every right to be angry at Birth of a Nation. Yeah, it's not bad. I packed away earlier interview with a vampire, and I was talking about the Vampire Chronicle books, and oh my fucking Christ, they just become nothing more than a love letter to this motherfucker right here. But besides them, they're not terrible. Now, you want to talk about one of the best films in the fucking whole damn diddly damn world? Yes, and I did say diddly. Ew. What's wrong with the plastic? Fear and fucking Loathing. I think it's Evan's favorite film. Fucking great film. I say here, bad country. This is where I learned that ether is taken as like a recreational drug by some people. I thought Mr. Burns would teach me, but no. I don't need to say much about this film other than it's a fucking masterpiece. The book is a masterpiece too, and of course Hunter S. Thompson was a master worker. The Rum Diary is another great film. I highly recommend you check out. And book too. And we go from a good film to a fucking train wreck. The Postman, Kevin Costner. What happens when you take the Fallout universe, and particularly the Fallout New Vegas universe, and then you strip out all the fun and make it about a guy delivering mail, and then you hire the most boring fucking actor in the world? Well, you have shit, is what you have. It's not a good film. It could have been a good film, but it was not. You have Arsenic and Old Lace. I do not. You'll see what I have, although this is, like I said, one of two films things. And feel free to check back over. I go through every single DVD I put away. Now we go from that. I don't think I've actually ever seen it, to be honest with you. Arsenic and Old Lace. Oh, my back. Bourne Identity. Delightful as fuck. That's a good tagline right there. You know, like the reviews down the bottom. Outstanding, amazing, delightful as fuck. The Bourne Identity. This film I really enjoyed because of the sort of the way it showed not just him being chased and hunted, but also the way you saw how they hunted people. The Mission Impossible films did something similar, and eventually, what was it, Civil War? They had a scene that was just ripped right out of this. There's a great scene in this movie where an assassin tries to kill Jason Bourne in his apartment, and they're having this huge fist fight. And instead of being killed by Jason, the guy turns around and sort of waddles out the window, and is fucking, the way he does it is so fucking unexpected and hilarious. Oh, it just makes that. Yeah, 24 is would be heavily inspired by this. I'm almost out of space in this box here, but we have enough for one more. Now, I hope you've seen this, Jay. This film is a slog. You'd have to clear out about at least 3 hours. But, oh, it is so good. It is so fucking good. It just keeps on going and going and going. There's not much I can... there's a lot of action in it and a lot of weird, almost Tarantino-esque moments that I would really recommend. Well, I'm behind on my movies too. I've got hundreds of movies here, and I've had hundreds more before I started selling them off, but I'm still only a drop in the bucket. I saw The Joker. That was some good... Yeah, beat you to it. Beat you fucking to it. It's growing on me. I gotta be honest. The more I think about it, the more I enjoy it. And the more I hear people talking about it, the more I'm like, yeah. Yeah, it's actually... There's a lot more to it than I first gave it credit for. Because I thought at first it was kind of... It was fine, but I've seen other ideas. The same idea. It didn't wow me away. But yeah, it's a slow burn for me. It's starting to grow on me now, and I'm like, no, I can really enjoy this. I can really enjoy this. And I not just enjoy it for its sort of the action is almost non-existent. There's no like fight scenes. There's murders, and that's good because when they happen, like whoa, and it's such great storytelling. And Yaquin does such a great performance in it. I thought the tie-in one respect was a little bit forced, but It's not so bad. But yeah, anyway, Old Boy. The twists in this film are just fantastic. And there's a scene in an alleyway, in a hallway, early on in the film, early on being like half an hour, that the TV show Daredevil stole right from. Well, while we're here, they are. And they're very realistic, except for the blood. The CG blood is a little bit much. And these two bad boys. Speaking of Tarantino, these two fucking bad boys. I hear they're trying to make a sequel, a third film. If they do that, I would be happy so long as they get back in as many of the original cast as they can. Uma has to be Uma. The daughter, BB, has to be grown up. They can bring back the woman with the the eye patch, who now has no eyes whatsoever. But mostly, I think what would be a great third part of this, the black woman she kills at the beginning, that the daughter witnesses, that daughter needs to grow up and seek vengeance on Beatrix. Now, that is some good shit. I would so love that. It would be kind of like you have to break the cycle of vengeance. I don't know how they'd do it, but it'd be so cool if they could pull it off. This beautiful bad boy right here. I hate to say it to poor Vinny, because Vinny's in a lot of films. I think this is Vinny Jones's finest work. He's just at his peak, which is a shame because he's really just starting his acting career at this point. He just got off playing football. It is 1998. I'm genuinely surprised. It's about as cockney as shit. There's a video game for the PS2 called The Getaway. There's a two-parters in it. Think of it as GTA but set in London, and it is just ripped right out of this and Snatch. It is so. I've got Stings in this film. Jesus. He's not in it for very long, if I remember right, but it's so. Guy Ritchie is like so good at setting things up, giving it a tone, a feel to it. I would highly recommend this film and Snatch, especially if you want to learn about the travelling culture of Ireland and the UK, the travellers, or in this case, the Pikeys. They're not even fucking Irish. They're Pikeys, right? Which I don't know why they picked Brad Pitt. He would have been my first pick for that character, but he plays it up. Don't do it for Caravan. He'll lose the fight for a Caravan. I'm not mad at you, man. Like, there's so many films I have not seen, but I do recommend you watch these films, especially when you're in the mood. The Kill Bills films, for example, very good if you're having a few friends over for takeout and drinks. It's something you can watch and get really into, or something you can kind of dismiss. Now, this, however, is not something we needed to have if we were going to ever have Star Wars or Aliens. I'm not one of those people who think that you have to do anything. So if you haven't seen a film, you haven't seen a film. So the fuck what? I do think that if you want to claim to have an understanding of, say, a particular director, you should watch all their films. I did that with Paul Verhoeven, for example. I'm very happy I did that. Paul Verhoeven is a fucking genius, but he's a fun genius. Oh. gin, baby. Sweet, merciful gin. But anyway, Stanley Kubrick's 2001 Space Odyssey. I'm afraid I cannot do that, Dave. Yeah, you fucking can there, pal. Gonna be an amazing film, but it's gonna be a boring. A lot of people, then and now, would go, oh my god, when is something gonna happen? The establishing shots are not good in this film. Because at first you're like, wow, that's a really interesting scene. Then it keeps on going and going. It's like the first Star Trek film, the motion picture, when they established the Enterprise, the way it just keeps on going and going and going and going and going. But then once you get into it, you see this really interesting and deepful conversation about what it is to be a human and what it is to be an alien and what it is to be a machine, what it is to be. And the book is amazing as well. It's one of the best films ever made, and I highly recommend everyone to watch it. Meanwhile, these ones ask the same questions. And let's be honest here. They know they are. Especially about the machine part. This is a good film, because it's a good action film. Because it's a good Will Smith film. It's a film about Will Smith doing Will Smith things. And then they strap on some robots. I like Vicky, the villain in it. I don't know why, but she's got a lot of good quotes. My logic is undeniable. It's a pretty good film. Meanwhile, oh yeah. The film that spawned 1,000 stripes. The second anyone sees some going down stripes, they're like, oh cool, it's a Beetlejuice stripe. Because he's the first one to ever have that. Fucking love this film so much. And let's be honest here. It's Tim Burton's probably one of Tim Burton's last original ideas. And I will fight you for that. Everything since then has been Tim Burton trying to recapture this and Edward Scissorhands magic. With Johnny Depp, with the one who played Miss Miggins in Sweeney Todd. She had big tits in that one. Like, it's just the same old actors doing the same old things. Kooky and strange. Nostalgia Critic did a great review on Tim Burton. Tim Burton Land. It looks great, but the longer you stay there, the more it's all just starts blending into each other. Some of it can look great. Some of it looks fantastic. I mean, I like the Corpse Bride. I thought that was a pretty interesting one. I don't know if he did Coco, but I think he should have been brought in at least as a consultant for Coco. Now, you have 4 left, and then there's no more on this side, I think. So I'll just start moving over to this side. And once this box is finished, then I think I'll end that for now. Because, like I said, I've got to go out and I'm going to get dressed first. I've got to go out and pick up probably more wine. More wine! Plus, I need to pick up some food. Because I don't like to starve. Letters from Iwo Jima. I should combine these two. Where is it? That flag is of your father's over here somewhere. No? Fuck. Watch this back to back. It even says here, a great pairing with. Where does it say that? Somewhere on the box it says, it's a great pairing for Flags of Our Fathers. And it's the better of the 2 war films. If you like war films like Enemies at the Gate or Downfall. That one wasn't great, but it wasn't too bad either. Band of Brothers. No, that's a TV show. But shows like that, TV shows like that. What's the name of that bloody Saving Private Ryan? Stuff like that. You'll love this. But it's all in Japanese, so if you don't like subtitles, a lot of these films, Old Boys in subtitles, as well it should be. Highly recommend this film. You really start feeling for the main character. Well, there's two main characters. There's the soldier, and then there's the guy, the main general on the island. And I like how the Americans, for the most part, are just... they're just these strange shapes off in the distance, because that's how war is. I've got Fury over there somewhere, and that just shows, for the most part, you don't get to see anyone. Dunkirk does that very well. There's another great film. This is Helen Mirren being her most Helen Mirren-y. The Queen. About Diana. Now, I know a lot of people watching this are younger than me, and a lot of them are American. So they didn't really know much about Diana other than she died. But me, being from an English family, and being in Ireland, right next to the UK, my God, I was there on ground zero. Although I remember how I found out about her dying. I was fast asleep, and then my nan came in. And I don't know, I think we were having a fight or something the day before, so I didn't care what she was going to say. I just went, what? It's really early in the morning. And she just said, I thought you want to know Princess Diana's dead. And I just went like, how? Accident. Oh. Well, that's bad. And I went back to sleep. I was like 7, I think. When did she die? But it was a media storm like crazy. What's his name? Tony Blair had just gotten into office. It was crazy. And they captured good chunks of this. But it's not really about that. It's about how the Queen deals with it. I mean, look at her back there. You actually never get to see Diana except for the side of her face in the coffin. See, there's the Queen there. She has... she was just completely terrified of how the people were judging her. And her actions, for the most part, came across as if she didn't care. And they constantly go on about how that would be like the end of the monarchy in the UK. No, there would be a loss of respect for the monarchy, which doesn't really exist, but also does not really exist. Like, I think, quite honestly, the British people are waiting for that generation of English royal family to die off so they can get a royal that'd be like, well, let's dismantle the whole process of it. Because that's the English for them. They don't care. Like, they do care. They don't want a royal family for the most part, but they're like, eh. Anyway, here's a film that not many people cared for, but I actually really did. League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. I really enjoyed this film. I know a lot of people don't, and there are some huge flaws with it. I like the guy who played Dorian Gray, and I like the guy who played the girl who plays what's her name? Doesn't mention it. Well, she's probably the only woman, really. Weird. But she plays a vampire anyway. And she's, I thought she was kind of funny. There's a great scene where she's pissed off at Sean Connery and she just starts mumbling his accent under her voice. She's like a few centuries old vampire lady. Imagine Penny Dreadful, but set for like young adults. So tons of action, but no sex because boobies are bad. It's also really great director's commentary. Speaking of, fucking great film. Last King of Scotland. You want to kill me? That silly drunk old man. Fantastic. Obviously played up. Once again, white savior comes in, but in this case, he's not a white savior. He's a fucking dumbass. So, what's his name? Plays it really well. James McAvoy plays it really well. He's this sort of frat boy who gets really lucky with his choice of friends. Right guy at the right place, right time. And there's also a fantastic her. She's a very good actor. She plays her role very well. But there's a scene after she has sex where she rolls over, and that ass though, comes back to bite her though in that beautiful ass. But of course, the standing ovation comes to. Oh, come on. Why can't I remember what the actor's name is? Forrest Whitaker. He's really, really fucking good in this. He's so nice and jovial and honest, and then you realize, oh no, he's a fucking psychopath. He plays it up really well. Like the real Idi Amin, by the way. Anyway, here's a film that once again not many people love. I fucking do. Probably because Keanu Reeves is so well suited for it. Although I know the real Constantine. Constantine in the comics is a blonde. Which for some reason was a big deal. I mean, it kind of made sense with Jack Reacher, but I thought this was pretty damn good. I liked the guy who played the devil. And I liked I thought Shia LaBeouf wasn't terrible in this. Very rare at this point in his career. He hadn't quite gone full Transformers yet. Okay, so that's it for that side. We've got tons of Bond films here. We have every Bond film except for the ones I already packed away. So before we do that, let's work our way around. So let's start with this. Not many people in America know this. The Carry On films. I actually got this free in the mail with a newspaper. The idea is that they would give half the collection free, and they'd send out the remaining collection with if you subscribe to the newspaper. The Carry On films are the most cockney, jokey, tongue-in-cheek, a little bit raunchy, a little. You see side boob, you see bare arse. It was all sort of jokey. Right, me old John. Look at that one. That's the whole thing. And it was always set in different areas. In this case, it's Carry On Nurse, but there's the most famous one is Carry On Henry. Oh, my mother told me about you. You're only after one thing. Oh, what? What's wrong with the other? Oh, I'm a cheeky monkey, me. And it was all just fun and games, and it was all just sort of like it was adult fun and games before they could get too in your obvious face with sexuality, while keeping it very British, but lowbrow British, not upbrow British, lowbrow British, and it worked. I think it really worked. It's hard not to love it. Speaking of the fucking Running Man, oh my god. Oh, I remember watching this as a kid, and I could not stop but love the fat dude, the fat guy who played opera, who came down full of electricity, and he was on like a Zamboni that had like he was on like a bumper car that had all these blades coming out of it, and he had like all this lightning mohawk. He was like, brrr! He was so camp. Oh, it was so good. I really loved it. And of course, it was the end. Very important. This film was originally going to end with him, Arnold's character, based off the book, flying a plane into the Twin Towers. This was years before 9/11. They weren't the Twin Towers. They were buildings that looked very similar to the Twin Towers. It's a post-apocalyptic universe. And they said, oh, no, because there had been the bombing, the first bombing of the World Trade Center at the time. So they held off on it. And they just changed the ending to a generic ending. Now, I don't think that ending would have been any better, but it definitely would have made more of an impression in the long run. To the point where I'm sure conspiracy theorists would just have a fucking field day. Meanwhile, in a film that should have been better, aka the same grey corridor for nearly 2 hours. I hear they've redone a version of Doom. I absolutely do not know what to say about that, except that Doom is Doom, you know? It's Doom. It's a crappy film that if you completely suck out your brain and forget what the premise is, what it's based off, it's fine, but they don't play The Rock up to his power. Carl Urban is famously forgettable. I know he's doing a lot better these days, but and who the fuck is this dude? They just needed a third guy there. He's not even on the billing. Oh, Doom. Shitty film is shitty. Now, here's one of those sort of pack box sets. 3 old classic films. They're all set about pilots during the first two are about World War II, and this one's about the Great War, World War One. Also, the best film of all of them, the Blue Max. Fuck yes, that's a good film. But these two are films that I think were they made during the war? 1949, 1966. So 1949, 12 O'Clock High. This was made. The first one was made in the same vein as those World War II propaganda films. Almost certainly, what this was. I'll tell you what this was. This was a leftover script that they didn't have time to film while the war was on. And this didn't do great, and I'll tell you why it didn't do great, because the second the war was finished, everyone wanted to know about anything else but war, especially World War II, because they had been bombarded with it year after year, day after day. They had literally been bombarded in some cases. They didn't need to see fantasy of it. They lived through it. They wanted to know more about spies and romance and cowboy films. And then later on, sci-fi films and fantasy and, well, the films we have today. And then there was also this newfangled thing called television. So these two films didn't do all that great. Now, I forget which is which, but one of these films is good because it actually shows combat fatigue, or rather, like post-traumatic stress disorder, with one character. There's a scene where he's trying to do like a tons of, I think it's 633 Squadron. He's trying to just talk, but he's become so manic, and it's just the way it's shot. It's actually very good. It's probably the highlight of the film. Then he passes out. And the Blue Max is just a great character biop. It's not based off any real person, but it doesn't need to be. He's vaguely based off Hermann Goering, in fact. That Hermann Goering, yes, he was a big fighter pilot in World War One. A big fighter pilot, because he's fat. Now you want to talk about controversy? Clockwork Orange. I've read the book. Hard to read because it's an old slang. The book is fine. The movie is pretty damn good in parts. Very good in parts. Unique. Very unique. Nowhere near as horrific as people remember it. It still gets an 18 rating down here at the bottom, but it's a great film. Famously, Stanley Kubrick intentionally gave his blessing to a lot of places that banned it because he found that there were people who started to try to emulate this shit. And he's like, oh no, 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 no. I want to tell a story. I'm not condoning this, so I'm absolutely backing down. It's like when the Wachowski, then brothers, now sisters, had to go on and say none of this is real. Sorry there, Evan. I respect you. I fucking love you. If we're in the Matrix, I'd like to wake up. I suddenly wake up in this vat. Like, that would be fucking scary. This is a great film. This is a very great film. Absolutely love it. The guy who plays Frank Langella, if I'm right, he's the one who played Caesar in Rome. He's a very good actor. And, it's not based off, it's based off a real life thing, but obviously a lot of things have changed and altered. Is this a Ron Howard film? I think it's Ron Howard, isn't it? Yep. It's a very good film overall. I highly recommend it. Especially the gotcha moment that doomed him. He just looked so bad as a result. And it was his idea in the first place to go on to Frost's show. Well, I remember Frost, though. I remember Frost. He was the guy who did Through the Keyhole. He was a very old man when I would watch TV growing up. And he did the show Through the Keyhole. And that was very good. And the guy who did the narration of Who Lives in a House Like This? And then it cut back to Frost in the studio with the two contestants. And the guy who did that has gone on to become like a world famous chef. Because that's the way of the world, you know? A lot of people I know growing up have done so many different things with their lives. It's insane. The Revenant. The film that finally got this motherfucker an Oscar. And I love how DiCaprio did his speech. He just said thank you, but I'm up here, so I owe it to people to, conserve water. People across the world are kind of dying from thirst, and talked about that thing that Matt Damon always goes on about. But this is a great film. The fight with the bear is amazing. That's what I'm going to say on it. I don't want to spoil too much. Wait, hold on. Wait, one thing. Tom Hardy. Yep, I knew it. Tom Hardy is the quote-unquote villain of it. And this is based off a true life story, by the way. This really happened. Not obviously the way it happened, but it's pretty much based off a true life story. Now, this isn't based off a true life story, but I had an ex. My first girlfriend had this book along with her when we went up to see her dad in the countryside for a week. And she read a few pages, and I read a few pages because I'd already watched the film and the book. And this is fairly true, especially the ending. I don't know why I like this film. Maybe I like the bitchiness of it, but I also like the real world superpower, like how the thing works. When Meryl Streep's character starts breaking down how Anne Hathaway's character's clothes, where they all come from. I thought that was a great scene, as she's like, well, I got this at Walmart. And she's like, well, obviously you got it in Walmart. Let me tell you how it ended up on Walmart shelves. And she goes through this entire thing that is, at this time at least, what the fashion agents, the fashion industry was like. And you're like, whoa, shit, she's got power. Like, maybe not this hoodie, but these. Almost certainly these came from a decision at one point in a distant past from an incredibly powerful fashion guru that then got passed down and down and down and down and down and down. There's also some great like banter between the two. I also love the diets in that all the girls are on. They're about to pass. You don't eat anything at all until you're about to pass out, and then you eat a whole block of cheese. Also, based off something that really happens at those fashion agencies to keep the waist down, they have about 2 or 3 bites in their lunch, and then they get ink, and then they spray ink all over the food from pens. Fucking insane. Speaking of insanity, fuck yeah. Hello, Paris. I love this film. Big fan of this film. I watched Hannibal more than this, but Hannibal wasn't amazing. It was just okay. Oh. I haven't been getting much traction beyond the likes and the ghosts that have been popping up in the corner, and of course our Lord J Dark. So I'm imagining this is, if anyone watches this far, it's going to be people in the future. So to that I say, hi, I hope you got this far. We're almost done. Let's say about, I have no idea how many DVDs are left at this stage. Not a lot, but yeah. Like I said, I'll come back to this later, another day. That's it for the playlist. I think I'll leave the playlist off from here on out. If you want to change my mind, by all means, tell me. I think this is one of the best films of lighting, for example. Lighting and camera work is so good in this film. Shit film is shit. Shit film is shit. Wait, no. No. Shit film is not shit. Yeah, this isn't terrible. This is Oblivion. Oblivion has a good message. It kind of takes a while to kick in. I was thinking of Elysium. I watched Elysium and Oblivion back to black. Back to black. Like a name, porno. Oblivion, I kind of liked. I liked the message at the end with the whole symbolism. And I love these drone things, how they move and operate. They're fucking brilliant. Have these weird sort of robotic noises like out of the War of the Worlds walkers. Get ourselves a classic film going on here. French Connection. Masterpiece. Came out a year after the events of the film. Involves the actual actor, the actual cops who took them down. They started their career in acting. That led them, for example, to be the cops in Godfather. It's just Gene Hackman is just amazing in this film. Ever pick your toes at Paczinski? On Roy Schneider, that's right. It actually ends in a slightly different way, but yeah, it is a great film. I highly recommend watching The French Connection. I mean, you don't need me to tell you to watch the bloody French Connection. If that's true, how old are you? Let's see, we're running out of DVDs that aren't James Bond films. Oh, I don't know what I'm doing back to back. First things first, 3:10 to Yuma. Fantastic film. I seen the original, not a big fan of the original. Love this version. Russell Crowe and Christian Bale. Fuck yes. The best Western since Unforgiven. About the Butch Cassidy film. Or Tombstone. This is a great film. I love their look in it. I love their attitude. If this seems like it could be set in the same universe as Deadwood, and technically it kind of is. I know a lot of people aren't into cowboy films. Highly recommend you watch it. Just to see all the familiar faces that pop up and go, I remember him from such and such. Tenacious D. My friend Ashley recently got to see them live in the studio. I wish they had waited until March to come over. I'd have been able to fucking see them. The Pick of Destiny is pretty damn fucking good. I like the build up to it, to be honest with you. But I mean, it's a tongue-in-cheek film. The ending is pretty good. But obviously, I remember more the music video with Rob Schneider showing up. That was a weird fucking cameo. I really recommend this. I've actually got tons of films here I definitely would recommend. For the most part, I'd be more recommending than I wouldn't. I've got a few shit films, of course, but like The Postman, Jesus. Here we are. Absolutely recommend that shit. Now, is this the only Harry Potter film I have? Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. I'm sure I had The Order of Phoenix and The Philosopher's Stone and shit like that. Oh, yeah, I knew it. I fucking knew it. Here's Goblet of Fire. Dobby was kind of creepy to me, actually, the way he moved. But I really did like I know Harry Potter's got its two parts. The sort of serious part near the end of the series, and then you've got the more fun, happy, kiddish part at the beginning. And I think that's pretty damn good because it mirrors the people who grew up with it. Because when these movies came out, when the books came out, I was roughly about the same age as Harry was. And by the time they were finished, I was a year or two older, but still technically, when the Deathly Hallows came out, I was still technically kind of in his same age bracket. And I'd gone through the whole like sort of journey with them. Which one? This is the Chamber of Secrets. Yeah, this is, of course, eventually gets his call back near the end of it. Is this where the first time they get the car? They got the car in the back. I don't remember if this is the first time they get it. Is this also the last time when they get when the house points fucking matter? Because they stop mattering after a while. Like no one cares about house points and like who wins the cup after Jesus. This is the fourth book. It just kind of vanishes. This is when it gets serious. This is when it gets dark. This is when a character fucking dies. And like, oh no, we've all grown up now. Especially the girls. Not Rondo. And Neville's a long way off. But now he's getting top billing. It's so strange. Oh no, Neville isn't. Neville still hasn't reached the high point because that's his journey. That whole series is Neville growing the fuck up. It has nothing to do with fucking Harry when you get right down to it. Oh, I see a bomb right here. I see a bomb. Ooh. But yeah, like the Harry Potter films, they're fine. I think once they got into the sort of breaking them up into part 1 and part 2 near the end, that was a fucking piece of shit. Set a bad precedent. That's still happening. Happened even with the video game. That gave rise to the famous Angry Joe quote, 4 hours? And then he goes slow-mo, 4 hours. But now this is a beauty. I had a girlfriend who asked me one Christmas, what did I want? And I said, well, why don't we give each other DVDs that we really like? So I forget what I got for her, but I got Dr. Strangelove. Because It's so brilliant of a film. It's such a parody. There's like so many parodies of like the big strong American or the dumb weakish British person. Um, there's like a great scene where the Russian ambassador is trying to get in and into the war room, and the general, the gun-toting American general is like, "Sir, we can't let him in." Well, why not, General? They'll see the big board. It's like this huge map of the world behind them, and it's just that's all it is. Gentlemen, please stop fighting. This is the war room. You never get to see the Russian premier, but you hear him a couple of times. He's apparently always drunk and always. Well, there he is. There's this picture there in the corner. He's always got a girl around his neck. Yes, Dmitri. I'm sure young Ivana is a very nice lady. And of course, then you've got the actual Doctor Strangelove. Mein Führer, I can walk. Oh, such a great film. Absolutely great anti-war film. The same with Patton too, which is fascinating because Patton doesn't look like a great anti-war film at first glance. Now, this, however, did come across as a stinker and remained a fucking stinker. Keanu Reeves cannot do everything right. One of which he cannot do right is The Day the Earth Stood Still remake. Fuck this movie. It is bad. It is so bad. It completely misses the point of everything. It gives this bizarre Fern Gully-esque environmental message. Every character is kind of listless and stupid. They do really stupid things. Oh, it's a bad film. It is a bad film. And everyone thought it was a bad film at the time. It did terrible at the box office. But however, I see what this bad boy is. Woo! Mars Attacks. Fuck yeah. This was just a fun film. This film is in the same vein as Caddyshack, actually, now thinking of it. It's a fun, goofy film with so many great memes and moments that go nowhere. I mean, whenever you want to parody this sort of shit, you always think back of this, which is a parody of the 1950s, sort of like, aliens arrive! You will be terrified! I love that film. Odd choice, though, for Pierce Brosnan and what's her name? Sarah Jessica Parker. Those were weird choices, but whatever. The whole film was just a big laugh. Jack Nicholson was fantastic as the president. There's a great scene with the French in that film that is just amazing, where they're like, the aliens, they have come to make peace with us, and like he's on the phone. The French president is on the phone with the American president, and he's like, Jacques, no! And it just cuts back to him, and you just see in one scene he's gone from smiling happy. The next he's just a burning skeleton, and the aliens are just destroying the Eiffel Tower. Do not run. We are your friends, and they're just killing everything. There's even a Trump reference in that. That's pretty damn good. Extraordinary Measures. Now, this film is very forgettable for a good reason, and it has nothing to do with Brendan Fraser being at the bottom, although he doesn't bring anything in. This is a paycheck film for him. That's a paycheck film for Harrison Ford, too. It's based off a real-life thing where like people actually figured out, what was the name of it? Was it Pompeii syndrome? It was called Pompeii. Pompeii disease. And it was based off like the real-life discovery of it. The only problem is they actually didn't... there was no one dude who did it. It was like a collection of other dudes, and it wasn't Harrison Ford-esque one dude. But it's a sort of like lazy afternoon film you'd watch with your grandma, maybe. Inspired by a true story. That's how they get around that, by the way. Inspired by a true story. We're nearly finished, by the way. Right? Now, this bad boy, however, this is a film. If you ever want to watch any film ever, watch Seven Samurai. This is not a forgettable thing. It is just so many things. I mean, look, this was actually released by the British Film Institute. It is such a good film. It is so well crafted. It is so well acted. All the actors went on. They're all dead now, as far as I'm aware, to do amazing things. But like so many sort of like cliches were born from this film. Same with Jimbo and Ran. Ran's an underrated film. I don't need to talk about Seven Samurai because it's Seven Samurai. Might as well talk about Citizen Kane. And at this point, I should bring out Citizen Kane, but I don't have Citizen Kane on me because I never damn bought it because I'm a fucking lazy bastard. Here's some TV shows for you. First 2 seasons of Family Guy. Some people consider this is when Family Guy was good. Not really. The uncut, un-PC, unsuitable for kids. Yeah, that's back when the FCC gave a shit about shit that Family Guy did. Nowadays, Family Guy ain't doing nothing. It's South Park that has to do with it. And the FCC, who the fuck cares what they think? First 2 seasons, I've got like up to season 3 or 4 of Family Guy. The jokes don't work anymore for the most part. They're very getting their feet. They're outdated because, of course, Family Guy was famous for doing a lot of jokes that were very of the time. Oh dear. Are we done with this box? Yeah, there won't be enough space. Shit. Well, damn. Unless, of course, I can do this. Oh, I can. Good. Okay. So here is, however, something that Family Guy has released, and I think it was the last really good thing Family Guy did. Let's get the third one. Let's gotta get it with my feet because I am descended from apes after all. You can't do this with their feet. Monkeys can do that. Went out for a smoky smoke. He's always been good. He never smokes inside the apartment. It always set a bad smell that we can never get rid of. Right. Family Guy. Blue Harvest. Family Guy. It's a Trap. And of course, Family Guy. Something dark side. Something dark side. Something complete. They're good. They're just episodes of Family Guy with Star Wars elements. I mean, Animaniacs did that years ago, and Spaceballs did it long before then. Let's see, can I get this in? This is going to be a tight fit. Oh, yeah, that's what she said. Yeah. So, I actually think that's it. I'll move this and move this. Come on, bad boy. Don't be like that. Don't be like that, man. Don't be like that. Right. So we now have the bag, this box, and this box. Right. Wow, I almost made full 2 hours. I have the remaining of the Bond films, which I'll do at the very least, is stack them up and then pack them away next time. This was productive. I'm gonna get a good bit of money out of this bag here, and once I get my hands on a car or some way of transporting the boxes, I'll be able to get more. I'll be able to get more money. It's also a sad reminder that I am leaving. I know that sounds weird, but it's a genuine sad reminder. Yeah, we'll leave these here. Like, I've spent years getting this DVD collection together, and it's vanishing before my eyes, but so is everything else. My consoles are all but gone. There's some over there, but I can't really do anything about them. And there's not really much else I can do at this point. Or sell. My treadmill I want to sell, but the problem with that is, whoa. You're in for a treat before this night's out, let me tell you. Gotta get up first. Yeah, you're gonna like that. I don't know how well you're gonna see it, but you're gonna like it. And unlike the rainbow, I don't have to fucking wait. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do an itchy ass dog walk now. Oh, I'm just thinking. A few weeks ago, my back was in bits. Yeah, you're gonna get another one of these, and then that's gonna be it. I forget else what I was gonna say. I don't think it mattered. Nothing really matters. Anyone can see. So you're gonna see how well you guys can see. Where is it? There it is. Oh, hello, Mr. Clouds. So nice that you're in my way. Not the most. There's the light. It's a full moon out tonight. It's very cool looking. I definitely appreciate it. But, actually, I'll leave this open for a little bit. Let in some nice cool air. Yeah. Here's the pile of DVDs at this point. Here's my work for the day. Oh. So I'll actually end just before the 2-hour mark, so I don't have to wait forever for it to process because Google is a dick. So in a day, probably on Wednesday, I'll come and do this again. But I'll also, of course, on Wednesday do the proper, like the travel stream, if I can manage it, which I should be able to. That bag there and this laptop here strapped over me. The laptop on the train, if I can pull it off. I don't know how well I can pull it off, but we'll see. And of course, more likely though, in a pub somewhere. There's a very cool pub I want to show you called Swagman's. I'll also bring my camera and my phone and my backup phone, so you guys can see whatever recordings I can make of it. And I have to make recordings this time around. There's a very good reason for it, because I'm now kind of strung out on ideas, and it's not going to be the easiest thing in the world. But today was a good stream. I'd say we have about another 1 or 2 more of these streams to do. So at the very least, that's some content right there. Yeah. So if you liked today, just chilling, and you actually want to be back again to see and communicate with me, I'd be definitely down for that. Jay can't hold all the weight on this low energy train. But by all means, then make sure that you're subscribed and hit that notification bell. Also, like this stream as well. It'd be very much appreciated. And tell me down in the comments if you want me to do anything else. You won't see it on this stream, but check out the check out one of the other videos to see links to our Discord, our Streamlabs, my contact details, and yeah, like I'm. This is gonna be a start of something new. It has to be a start of something new, whether I like it or not. So, what the fuck am I gonna do about that? But it's been a good 2 hours. 2 hours killed, and I've just passed over the 2 hour mark. So shit. Right, I'm gonna go now and have something to eat, finish off the rest of this gin, and head on out, and then head on back. I will talk to you, motherfuckers, tomorrow, where I stream something probably in there, and probably while I've actually got an idea. I've got an idea we can do tomorrow. So until then, hope you all have a good evening, and see you all again soon. Bye. And